Thank you for staying with us. Now, a rather traumatic story right before the break. And now, just to also provide more information, now the VAP law has, of course, been assented to and domesticated in Enugu State. But the challenge, according to recent articles, has been implementation, enforcement of this VAP law. And of course, the relevant authorities have to do a lot more to ensure that women are protected. This is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, which has since been domesticated since 2019 in the state. Enforcement, that's the big question. Oji, how did you feel watching the way the protest panned out and what this man did to his wife?
There's certain issues I don't love, speaking about, because I might say things that could sound derogatory. They always say that a lot of people are mad, but few are roaming the streets. This is an example of it, right? He didn't just butcher your fellow man or somebody else, your wife. If it's not working, I keep saying this, if it's not working, exit. There's no need to. So why bring her back? Why all the apologies and all that, and she agreeing coming back into your house for you to maim her? Did you see when you showed me that I could actually puke, by the way? But yes, I have to respect myself. Right. Look at what they did to somebody's child. So many questions, and now we need answers. Ambassador Onyinye Mamah, President, Women Support Women for Human Empowerment and the Mentorship Initiative. She's also the Executive Director of Heroin Women Foundation and convener of yesterday's peaceful protest from the Enugu State House of Assembly and, of course, to the State House yesterday. Ambassador Onyinye Mamah, thank you so much for being with us and bringing this issue to the very front burner on the show today. So good to have you. Good morning. Good morning, Ma.
Lovely. How are you?
Well, we were fine before we saw your protest. Now we have mixed feelings. So I have two questions, and I'm just going to come right out with them. Why did he butcher his wife? And where is he now as we speak?
All right, so he's already remanded in the prisons, in the correctional center, sorry. And we're also waiting on the Honorable Commissioner of Children, Gender and Social Development to highlight us on the time the women are expected to appear at the magistrate court with him today and tomorrow. So, the law has taken its due course while we are rousing up the moment and trying to set up a kind of social uproar in the society. Is that we do not want this case to just go like the other cases where after some time you will hear that the man is out to the streets and living his normal life just like every other citizen who has never perpetrated any crime. So the reason why he butchered the wife, we'll have to hear from him and his lawyer by the time we meet them in the magistrate court today or tomorrow. Good enough, this government, it's a very responsive, quick and prompt government whenever it comes to matters that concern women and justice. I'm so impressed. I don't even know how to talk about it.
So, how effective, Ambassador Onyinye Mamah, how effective would you say yesterday's protest was? Did you receive any response following your protest or at the protest ground?
Responses were not just prompt, they were also stimulated quickly from all quarters, because before we left the government house, I got interviewed by a staff of the government house who asked a couple of questions and said, what is the problem and what is your request to the state governor? So I requested very straightforward that we want the governor to plead with the ministries of justice, judiciary, and all magistrates in their various courts of jurisdiction to prosecute cases like this with the VAP law. And I could tell you within 2 hours that we left the government house to this moment, the Honorable Commissioner of Children, Gender and Social Development, the government house, the governor himself, action has been put in place to make sure all the quarters are working. And so this is what it means each time people raise their voices and say, this is what is expected of the quarters or the leaders in the state. So the responses have been very prompt. has been very prompt.
Articles read that, of course, the law was domesticated in 2019 in Enugu, and of course, other states in Nigeria have already domesticated the VAP law. But the question now is, how much or how well is it being implemented? Is it being implemented at all? I mean, bring us up to speed with how many cases you've seen being prosecuted with the VAP law.
All right, so the VAP law, the implementation, it's very poor. It has a very less satisfactory approach. The ministries of justice, judiciary, the magistrates courts of outright jurisdiction, they do not leverage from the provisions of the VAP law. And I know that law is very substantive, well embedded to cover both for the male and the female, especially for the female, who have been negated against in some discriminatory and stigmatizing issues in the society. So the practice or the use and implementation of the VAP law is very, very poor in this state and even in many states. So it's not peculiar to just say, look, most police people or police prosecution orders do not use the VAP law. The courts in Enugu do not use the VAP law. So a lot of work still needs to be done around this VAP law usage and implementation.
Are you being skeptical at this point in time that this particular case, wouldn't, get that really effect as you are, stating that this law, as we know, is not being implemented, fully?
That for the first time in 15 years of my development practice, I think I have a great nudge to believe that it's no longer the same. Why did I say this? This is the very first time we went for a peaceful protest and we had a prompt reaction from the protest. Aside from the time we went for the disability rights and their law, that the then governor, Fanny Guani, also gave a very prompt attention. But this one, within a space of 1 hour, all the waters were set on move. So I look forward to the court of competent jurisdiction making sure that justice is served. Right? This man has murdered a woman that was sleeping in his house. Whatever may be his reasons, we will hear, but whatever the reasons may be too, someone's life has been lost and we expect justice to be served.
Okay, I want to take you back a bit though. Were there traces of high-handedness from this man, in the past that led to this atrocious act? Were there traces ignored that led to this?
So something must have transpired, because this lady Onyinye left the marriage for 2 years. She wasn't in the marriage until recently when they went for funeral rites of the father. So the family of the husband now converged and said, okay, so let's put old histories aside. Let's try to make amends. Let's work as both mediative and reconciliative committee for you and your husband. Come back to your husband's house. Everything is going to be all right. So to the adherents of the people who try to foster peace and, relate communication between her and the husband, she adhered and came back to her husband's house. But coming back to her husband's house, she's now going to live as a corpse.
I mean, that is so difficult to listen to. I mean, I imagine some viewers probably having tea or coffee and just hearing that, coming out as a corpse. I mean, that's a terrible, terrible, terrible fate. I have to ask, at the beginning of this interview, you cited that there will be a court hearing today, that the Commissioner for Children Affairs would be there. And I understand that this is also a case that also falls under her own purview as well. What exactly is happening in the courtroom? What's happening in court? I thought he had already been, or is the husband going to be in court?
Okay, so the suspect is expected to be in court, but we have not been given the time. So we're waiting. Whenever we get the time, within today and tomorrow, we'll appear as women of Enugu and lend our voices and ears to whatever will happen in the court today. And of course, I will relate every information back to affectively.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Is the husband, shall we call him the suspect? Now, let's follow your lead. Is he denying the allegations leveled against him?
Or is he even being remorseful?
Is he denying it? I think he has to, first of all, accept before he becomes remorseful. Is he denying the allegations?
Okay, so none of us have heard from him.
Or did he butcher off his own mouth? Can't he speak?
So we've not heard from him. So by the time we hear from him, I'll come back and communicate to you if he's looking remorseful, if he's still appearing unrepentant. And then with my past experiences, you even see people who committed such villainous acts still tell you that they had reason to defend themselves. They cook up certain kinds of lies to look like, the survivor. Even I mean, the society is becoming so ridiculous with evil that I wonder if I just don't know what to say honestly, Natalie.
I mean, you said survivor. I like how you said survivor. He might want to come out as a survivor, right? To say that maybe she attacked him and all of that. I mean, it's going to be a heated session in court.
Attacked him while she was sleeping.
Well, I mean,
was it her spook?
Well, I mean, it's best for the suspects to respond to.
So
what do
evil,
you
man.
hope would be his fate, Ambassador Mamah? I mean, I'm sure you have followed this story, and since he did not butcher his mouth, he's going to speak in court. What do you hope would be his fate? What do you think should become of him?
It's quite unfortunate to say the least, but I think that guy is going to be a permanent tenant in the prison if with the discretion of the judge, if he's not sentenced to death.
Oji.
Well, we're not the law court, but I just hope that the Lord takes full course at this point in time because he erred. He did something very atrocious. Watching the visual of that picture would take a lot of shocks to your spine. When I saw it, I was like, are you sure this man is a human being? Literally, by the way. But the call for his prosecution is something that's very salient and important. Why? Because it's going to drive home, as a lesson to so many men out there too, who always feel that it's their right.
Right. Talking about the VAP law, and I also have to ask this question, how many women even know they have such rights? How many women in abusive relationships even know that they have such rights and can actually take these matters to court? So what are the benefits of this VAP law in your view? What are the benefits of women actually harnessing the rights that they hold within that law? What should they know about this? Because this is also a great platform to raise some kind of awareness. Ambassador Mamah, go ahead.
Okay, so beautifully, this is the first time a law is covering for both private and public life of a person. So that VAP law, it's not violence against women law. It's violence against persons law, but more substantially for women, because most of the law we've had have just had so many lacuna, some discrimination against the women. So this one came very substantively to cover for all persons. But more prominently is the fact that this law has stated that from defilement to rape, to not giving your wife money in the house, to not taking care of your children, to spousal ejection. Spousal ejection is we're having troubles in the house and you push her out of the house without having some people, interfere. So it's against the law. As small as not giving her money for food in the house, economic violence is captured. Also not allowing a woman to vote or be part of any political involvement in the state is part of the VAP law. Child abandonment, not allowing a child to go to school, not allowing a woman to express her right, not allowing a woman the right to worship, not allowing a woman the right to dress, though in that law she's expected to dress decently. So there are so many aspects of the VAP law which I personally have taught in the 17 local governments of Enugu 3 times. 3 good times. I've shuttled the 17 LGAs of Enugu, talking in all local governments. That was under the former governor's wife, Mrs. Monica Wani. She made sure I went to the whole local government twice to talk about VAP law. So I am still willing to come and share all my knowledge because I've read the VAP law 3 times over. And I'm willing to come to any platform, any sensitization, any church, any school, any public place to talk about the VAP law. It's so subversive that it reminds the woman that you own a voice, you own a place, you have a right in your marriage, you have a political right, you have a working right. As a mother, you have a right to your children, to enjoyment, to freedom, to association, to dressing decently, and to getting involved in politics. So,
Onyinye Mamah, I urge you, I beseech you right now that huge percentage of women don't know about this law, and probably so many people are going to be hearing it for the first time. And it's a great deal that, yes, you're trying to sensitize, and they need more sensitization regarding this law, because it's going to ameliorate so many things women do go through, you know, in their husbands, in their families, and all that. Natalie.
I mean, it's a great one that you mentioned that, and I would also like to ask how you would use your platform to help raise awareness, because awareness creation is not one man's job. How would you be using your platform to further educate women on the VAP law? Since we know it exists in the States, implementation might be abysmal currently, but how would you use your platform as a tool to sensitize others?
2 years, because the state government under the Ministry of Children, Gender and Social Development have just inaugurated the GBV task force. So we are commissioned with the right to make sure that cases around gender-based violence is brought to the fore, treated, justice served, and a whole lot of people properly sensitized. The co-convener, who is Barrister Chizobabo, I know you also spoke to her yesterday. She has, from her chambers, agreed that she's going to use her personal money to sensitize a lot of groups so that they are conversant, well aware to the contents and the provisions from the VAP law. And I mean, this is something that if we buy into it from now to the next 6 months, a whole lot of people will be privy to this information, very informed, and I mean, we'll keep going and learning.
All right, thank you so much for your time this morning, and we wish you great success on this enlightenment round you'll be going on. And of course, much later, we'll hear from the Commissioner for Children and, of course, Gender Affairs, Mrs. Ngozi Eni, and she'll tell us what exactly she'll be doing. And of course, much later, we'll try to also connect to the Ministry of Justice for insights on the implementation of this law. Thank you once again, Mrs. Mamah.
Welcome. The pleasure is all mine.
The Monitor returns in just seconds, and when we come back, we'll be discussing an upcoming event that you may want to participate in. Do stay tuned.